Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy TyLoTheGentleman. And for all of y'all that want a piece of One Piece, welcome to Wano Piece. So this week, we're going through chapters 41 through 60. Last time, we left off with them gaining a new member of the pirate crew. Luffy's newest member is Usopp. Usopp is the son of Yosaku, as we talked about last time. When they leave, Ojousama gives them a ship called the Going Merry. It's their first ship, so you know Luffy's all overhyped, excited. It's their first ship as pirates. Luffy tries to paint a pirate flag, and it's terrible. It's the worst pirate flag ever. But when Usopp paints it, it's much better. It's much more efficient. He learned how to paint by painting people's houses. Probably something he shouldn't be doing. They tested out their cannon because their ship had a cannon, and Luffy couldn't hit anything. Luffy couldn't hit water if he fell in the ocean. But Usopp hit a mountain or a big rock formation the very first time he fired the cannon. So Luffy kind of gave him the name of Sniper. So he was the sniper of the group. Of course, Usopp wants to be the captain, but you know, he's not fit to be anybody's captain. Luffy was thinking that they need a cook and maybe a musician to be a part of their crew. So they're searching for a cook because that way they can have food when they're on the ocean. You need those kind of things. You need someone to fire the cannon, you need a captain, you need a swordsman, you need a navigator, and you need a cook because somebody has to keep all these people fed. Usopp fired the cannon and hit that rock formation. When Usopp hit the rock formation, it hit where these two bounty hunters, Yosaku and Johnny, were laying down. The reason Yosaku was laying down is because he had scurvy. They didn't know that at the time, but Nami was able to just give him some limes and he was back on his feet. They're bounty hunters and they used to run with Zoro. They traveled to this place called Baratie. Baratie is a restaurant on the ocean. They're known for their fighting cooks. These cooks are known to fight. They like to fight and they like to cook. And you put them both together, you get Baratie. On their way, just before they get inside Baratie, they meet a Lieutenant Iron Fist Full Body. So he has like an iron fist, and he decides that he wants his Marines to sink the Going Merry because they're pirates. Even though he doesn't see them as a threat, he still says, hey, sink them anyway. So when he goes to sink them, Luffy uses the Gum Gum Balloon to deflect the attack, but it actually hits the top of Baratie. Luffy tells the owner he'll work for a week, and the owner says, okay, cool. I mean, there was some fighting involved to get to that decision, but after they fight and come to that decision, they decide that Luffy will be there working for a week. Now, this lieutenant also goes on the ship to eat, and when he gets there, and the assistant chef, the assistant chef named Sanji is there, and he's like kind of flirting with this guy's lady, and Iron Fist doesn't really like the respect. I guess he's known to rule with the Iron Fist, and so he's like talking all this trash, and so he tries to fight him, but then Sanji really just kicks his behind, like beats him to a bloody pulp, basically. One of the Krieg pirates walks in and demands to be fed. The Krieg pirates are known for being the strongest pirate fleet actually, of 50 ships and 5,000 men. They're a pirate fleet. They're known to be the biggest and baddest of the East Blue. Now, the East Blue is the ocean. The ocean is split up into 4 ways. The North Blue, South Blue, West Blue, and East Blue. And all of these are split up by the Grand Line and the Red Line. So, of the East Blue, Don Krieg is known to be the biggest and baddest pirate because he's the admiral of 50 ships. When his underling, Jin, comes on board the ship and demands food, one of the other chefs, Patty, beats him up, but Sanji decides to give him food anyway. Because Sanji's biggest thing is that if someone's hungry as a chef, you should feed them. After Sanji gives him the food, Jin leaves. Sanji then falls for Nami at first sight. Just head over here, head over heels. Basically, he has heart eyes every time he looks at her, talks to her. He's giving her free wine, free fruit, just catering to everything, all of her needs as her waitress, her waiter. While this is going on, Jin, the guy that Sanji just fed, goes back to Don Krieg and leads him to Baratie in order to get him fed. Now, when he comes in, he brings in Don Krieg. Don Krieg begs for food, and they don't want to give it to him, but Sanji, because of the way his morals are set up, he feeds Don Krieg. Right after Don Krieg eats, he knocks Sanji across the room. Everybody's kind of in awe. It's like, yo, we just gave you food. You said you were going to go away, but you didn't. Now you're starting to fight. So then the fighting chefs are ready to fight these warriors, and he's telling them to feed the people. Sanji still, even after that, Sanji still cooks food for the starving men on the ship. Don Krieg talks about who Chef Zeph is. Chef Zeph is actually Red Leg Zeph. He's a chef pirate. He used to be a pirate. He was a chef and a pirate who would only use his feet. And his kicks were known to dent steel. Like he could put a clean dent into steel. So he kept his hands the same way, and Sanji also fights like this. The reason Sanji and Red Leg Zeph are connected is because when Red Leg Zeph was taking over a ship, the ship got caught in a storm. He saved Sanji, even though Sanji, because he liked Sanji, because Sanji wasn't just rolling over and dying. Even though he was just a kid, he still tried to fight the pirates. And then he gives Sanji food while they're stuck on the island, and then he has to eat his own leg. He eats his own leg in order to survive. So him and Sanji both know what hunger is, and they're both chefs. So their biggest thing is to feed people that are hungry because they know what hunger truly is. The reason Don Krieg is there is because Don Krieg wants to get Red Leg Zeph's logbook from when he was in the Grand Line. Red Leg Zeph was in the Grand Line for a whole year. The Grand Line is a very random place. There's no order. There's just a bunch of pirates battling to get the One Piece. Don Krieg and his men, the 50 ships and 5,000 men, were defeated in the Grand Line after just 7 days. Now this is a big bad pirate fleet, and they're all defeated in 7 days by one man. This one man's name is Hawkeyes Mihawk. Hawkeyes Mihawk is the world's strongest swordsman. His first appearance that we see is when he pops up where Baratie is and where Don Krieg's ship is and slices it twice. We didn't even notice he was there, but he slices it twice and sinks the ship. Now when he sinks the ship, Yosaku and Johnny come swimming over, and everybody's wondering, where's Nami? Where's Nami? Nami had stolen the ship with the treasure and left. Now, Luffy is ready to send the other guys to go find Nami because he doesn't want anyone else to navigate them other than her. So, before they do this, Zoro challenges Hawkeyes Mihawk to a duel because he's the world's strongest swordsman, and Zoro wants to be the world's strongest swordsman. So they end up having a duel, and it's amazing because Zoro's using 3 swords, and Hawkeyes Mihawk is only using a dagger this big. He stops Zoro's onigiri attack with that small dagger. Then afterwards, they battle it out. Zoro's going in with his 3 swords technique, and they battle it out, and he ends up stabbing Zoro right near the heart with the little dagger. Now, Zoro says to him, he says, why don't you back up? If you don't back up, I could hit your heart right now. And Zoro says, well, I've trained this far. I've come this far. I'm not going to back up. I'm not going to take any steps backward. I'd rather die than to go backwards. So Hawkeye's Mihawk really respects his commitment and his honor in what he does. So then he decides to take out his big sword. He takes out his big black sword that he used to destroy the whole Don Krieg fleet. He uses that sword and he duels Zoro with it and breaks Zoro's swords. He doesn't break the sword Zoro got from his friend that passed away, but he breaks the other two swords. Zoro then turns around and faces him and says it's dishonorable for a swordsman to take a strike to the back. So he takes that final strike to the front. And this is where I'm like, yo, is Zoro gonna die? And Zoro survives because the swordsman wants to see him grow. The swordsman wants to see him become stronger. He wants him to be stronger. He says he hasn't seen power like this. And this is coming from a guy that destroyed 50 ships with a sword. That's a lot. Can you imagine destroying 50 ships with a sword? He deflected bullets with his sword, just deflected them, just straight finesse. This guy's got skills beyond belief. But Hawk lets him live. Hawkeyes lets him live, and Zoro lives to fight another day. Don Krieg has special armor on that makes it hard for him to be attacked by cannon fire and things like that. So his armor is very, very strong, and no one can break through it. Iron Wall Pearl pops up, and he defeats Patty and Carnate because he just pops out of nowhere, kind of surprises them, knocks them both away. Sanji fights him next. He never lost a single drop of blood in any of his fights. He's been in over 60 fights, blah, blah, blah. He's super tall and annoying, and Sanji just whoops his behind with all kicks. Never touches him with his fist, just all kicks. Sanji does this like breakdancing, spinning attack. Just like he's on his head and just kicking like a spinning top. While Sanji is fighting Iron Wall Pearl, Jin uses this to break Red Leg Zeph's peg leg and hold a double barrel gun to his head. Now this kind of stops everything, and then Pearl takes advantage of this moment and just kind of whoops Sanji, like really, really beasting him, punches him, like double punches him to the face with his pearls, and just knocking him all around. One thing they also mentioned was All Blue. All Blue is a legendary place in the ocean where all the fish of the ocean can be found in one place. But some people say it's legendary and they don't believe in it. Sanji believed in it, and Red Leg Zeph believed in it and told Sanji that it is a real place because he was in the Grand Line and he just didn't have time to get to it. Jin ends up showing his true colors. So Jin isn't just some random underling. He's the second in command for Don Krieg. And he breaks out these two, like, they're like nightsticks, but they have cannonballs on the end of them. And he breaks Pearl's whole armor with one attack. So that was chapters 40 through 61. We'll be back at it next week with some more chapters. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Next week, we have Jin versus Sanji, and we have Luffy versus Don Krieg.